Good morning, my friends, and welcome to the 10-Minute Book Talk, where three best-selling authors talk all things bookish with you for 10 short and sweet minutes. I am Rachel Linden, your host for today, and I'm joined by Marie Bostwick. Katherine Reay is off having some sort of adventure, so she is not with us today. But we are here with one of our dear authors who we love to have on the show, Annabel Monaghan. Am I saying your last name correctly?
It's Monaghan. The G
Monaghan. The
is
G
silent.
is silent. Okay, I was right. I took a like 50-50 and I was right. I should know this. We know each other. Annabel Monaghan. And she is talking about her wonderful new book, Summer Romance. So Annabel, welcome back to the show. We love your books. We love to have you. And can you tell us a little bit about your new book?
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. So I'll hold it up one more time. Marketing. Okay.
Sweater matches so beautifully with your book cover.
Okay, that was an accident.
No, but go with it.
Nice. Yeah, you should get a new wardrobe for every book just to give you something to do. Shopping. So this is a story of Allie Morris, who is a professional organizer whose life and home are both a total disaster. She is mother of three. She's recently separated and she's grieving the loss of her mother. And she's just stuck in the ways I've been stuck. I think a lot of people have been stuck before. And she has it in her head that the way she's going to get unstuck is by having a summer romance with this adorable guy who is just in town for a little while. So that's sort of the setup of the story. It's about mothers and daughters. It's about grief. It's about doing things that you're 100% sure are going to end and just doing them anyways, like having a summer romance or, God forbid, getting a dog. It's about letting go of all of our stuff, which is something that I've been moving through lately. And I don't just mean emotional stuff. I mean, like the stuff that's been in my closets for 17 years. It was super satisfying to write a story where a woman goes through and gets rid of all of her stuff.
Ooh, how cathartic.
It's the most satisfying writing I have actually ever done in my life.
Really? I love it.
Yes.
I love so many of these themes, and so many of these themes are resonating with me at, my time of life. So I love this. Okay. So I want to ask, I know with Nora Goes Off Script, you also had a mother whose life had kind of fallen apart. So
Yes.
What is it about motherhood? And I identify as a mom of young kids. I identify very much with stories about moms. What is it that's drawing you to write about motherhood and about moms at this sort of inflection point where things have not gone well and they're kind of reinventing themselves?
I basically just like love stories. So I really liked writing Nora Goes Off Script. And then I wrote Same Time Next Summer, which was about a single woman having a relationship, just like any other love story. And then I wrote this, and she was married again. And I was sort of drawn back to it because of the constraint. If you're a divorced mother with a bunch of kids, you can't hang out with your boyfriend all the time. Like you have other stuff to do. And I love stories where I don't know, I love sneaking around. I mean, what's more romantic than sneaking around? And I love bringing in all the other stuff in your life that you have to deal with while you're falling in love. It just makes the heartbreak more intense, makes the falling in love more intense. I find it really fun to write.
It's messy, and messy is fun to read. Yeah. Okay. Love that.
You have such relatable characters. I was over looking at some of your Goodreads reviews for this book, which are just already fabulous. Fabulous.
I do not go to Goodreads.
Don't go look. You just know for me, they're fabulous. Okay. And one that I thought was so wonderful was this a woman who said, "I'm not married. I don't have kids. I adored this book. I was like crying and poignant." So there was something so identifiable about your characters. And I think some of that, well, all kinds of reasons, but something you do so brilliantly that a lot of people try and aren't able to pull off is that first person voice where the character, it creates such an intimacy. So it made me curious, how do these characters come to you? How did Allie, who I'm already in love with, how did she come to you? Is she a voice in your head, or when do you get that first spark and says, oh, that's the gal I want to write about?
So that's the gal, that moment comes very late. So I started with her. I really wanted to write a book about a professional organizer who was disorganized. I wanted to write a book about the difference between the face we show the world and what's actually happening. You know, I wanted to write a book about Instagram, frankly. And so I just created this woman who's a disaster and solves everybody else's problems. And as I kept writing, then I got to know her. I usually don't get to know my character until I'm done with the first draft. And then I go back to the beginning and I start rewriting through the eyes of a person that I understand. I don't hear her voice and I don't understand her when I start writing. I just start writing.
So you write your way into the characters.
Yeah.
Really.
Not efficient. That do not recommend.
No, I do the same thing, and it is not efficient, but it does yield some good things if you stick with it. It certainly has in this case. So I'm just congratulating you on that.
Thank you.
I love all of your books, and I'm excited for this one. I want to talk about the dog. So there's a dog that pees on the love interest, and I have a dog. Katherine has like 5 dogs, and one of them is giant, and Marie has a dog. So we love dogs here at the 10-Minute Book Talk. So talk about the dog.
So the dogs, you know, she has a dog and she meets him at a dog park. The dog walks over and pees on this guy's shoe, which is a thing that my dog did the one time that I took him to the dog park. And so we've never been back to the dog park. And by the way, it was a flip-flop. Yeah.
Oh no, that's not good.
I backed slowly away. I was
like, your dog is on a wanted poster at the dog park. Essentially.
It's just so awkward. Anyway, so that was how they met. And then here's the thing I've thought about, like, basically my entire life, is how tragic it is to get a dog. Like, the day you get a dog, you're like, I'm going to fall in love with this dog. And then that dog is going to die. And it's going to be the saddest day of my life. And it's so crazy to do it. And 7 years ago, I got my first dog. And now I understand it. It's like you do it because the dog is the joy in the moment. Like, it's worth the heartbreak. And so the dog became a bigger part of the story because thematically, like, that was the thing I was going for the whole time. You know, having a summer romance is worth the heartbreak. Befriending your elderly neighbor is worth the heartbreak. It's like, you know, bad things are going to happen and you do them anyways because of the joy.
Because of the joy in the moment.
Yeah. And I think that's what a dog's all about, right? That's why you have a dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're so right. Like, if we don't do the things in life because we know at some point they end and there's heartbreak, we miss out on so much good stuff in the interim. Because, oh, that's lovely. I love that theme. Well, this went deep and wonderfully. And I love that this story just feels like it's got all the things. It's got romance. It's got, I'm assuming you've got it in a great setting, New England setting again.
You know, it's actually kind of where I live. Yeah. So I live in the suburbs of New York City, so Westchester, New York. And it's a made up town and it feels different than my town, but geographically it's set. But yes, very pretty. You can see the trees out the window behind me.
Yes, I can see. Okay, lovely. So lovely setting, romance, warm, relatable characters, but then you've got these deeper themes that you tackle them in such warm ways that give hope at the end. And so I am so excited about this book.
You. And that is my hope. That is my hope, that somebody reads this and at the end they feel like just better.
Yeah. I think that's what you're getting, you know, something you do. I mean, obviously your books are so funny and your characters are so funny, but you really balance that with deeper themes and poignancy. And I'm just always struck by that with your work. And I'm about to embarrass you probably a little bit.
No, say more. Say nice. Why else do you like
Bring it on. You know, recently I read a book that's doing very well that I'm not going to name. And it is very clever. And it's almost too clever by half. And the premise is great. And it's so hooky. But very honestly, the writing just isn't that wonderful. It's snappy, it's clever, but the writing itself, and you even in this humor and stuff, you give us these wonderful like things that just like, yes, like just in the very first chapter, you talk about Allie with her ex-husband, and I'm gonna not be able to quote it because I'm not that weird. But something about, you know, a man who couldn't summon up enough compassion for her to walk across a kitchen to comfort her.
I love that you brought up that sentence. I cried when I wrote that sentence, and I was like, why am I crying? This is the third page of a romance novel.
Because we have been there. Every woman at some point has felt, you know, you just have this profound sense of Allie being a woman who is trying so hard to hold it all together, right? She is trying desperately to keep from falling apart, because, by the way, that's what moms do. Moms do not get to fall apart. It's not allowed. No matter how bad things are, we don't get to fall apart. Mm-hmm. And she feels unseen in all of this. And I don't know a woman in the world who hasn't felt unseen. And so I don't even know that I have a question exactly, but how are you like bringing that depth? Yes, it's a romantic comedy, but it's so much more than that. And that's what I think, that's why people are falling in love with your work. How do you bring that kind of poignancy and balance the humor with it?
This is, can I play this back every day on my walk? Sure. That really is, that is just it. That's such a compliment. I think to the extent that happens, it's because I write more from my heart than from my head. So the final product of what you read is usually me sitting inside the body of my protagonist. And I'm laughing while I'm typing, I'm crying while I'm typing, I'm upset while we're breaking up. You know, I'm in it. And I kind of, I guess I'm just a person who bleeds all over the page.
Well, that
in a good, very hygienic,
not is what I think draws readers to your book. So
thank you.
Thank you so much, Annabel. We are excited about this book. Can you hold it up again?
Oh, this one?
Yeah. Oh, that one.
That would be the one.
So run, don't walk to your nearest bookstore. Get Summer Romance. This is the book you need to take with you on vacation. We're headed into summer. We're headed into those lovely days where you're going to be at the beach or on a trip or needing a little getaway. And this is going to give you all the things that you hope for in a wonderful summer read and more. So we're so excited about it. One last question, Annabel. What is bringing you joy today, since we're talking about joy?
I'll tell you what. So I'm sure this is pre-recorded, but I am planning my book launch for next week.
Yay!
And I texted my adult children this morning, sort of sheepishly, frankly, like, so I'm doing this thing. It's kind of a big deal if you guys can come. And it's a schlep for them to get here. And they're all coming. I guess, like, they all have jobs and stuff to do, but they're going to show up. And it makes me feel really good.
That is wonderful. Well, congratulations on your beautiful new book.
There's the dog.
Right there's the dog. Oh my gosh, how cute. Love it.
And we take it that if people go to your website, they'll be able to find where they can go and see you in person when you're out on tour, right?
My Annabel Monaghan /events. It's all there. Links to register and tickets, and it's all there.
You know what? If you want authors to love you, show up. Show up at our events, because there's nothing worse than when we come to an event and it's us and our rabid fan, singular. So,
although we're
just the bookseller.
Appreciate more fans. Yes. Well, Annabel, thank you so much for being with us. We're so excited. We're celebrating with you, and we're excited for what is ahead. And thank you for joining us today. And those of you who are watching, thank you for joining us as well. And join us next week for more 10-minute book talk fun. We'll see you next week.
See you then.
Thank you.